If either president comes out with a meaningful first-time homebuyer program of
Agreed.
10, 20, 25 grand, there is a very good chance that
You sell
within
everything?
12 to 18 months, I sell all my
Yep.
single family homes.
Yep.
Because it'll be
Yeah.
another 20% pop, artificial. Dude, I've lived this movie before. I have
Exactly.
seen that last year of crazy stupidity.
Yep.
I will simply get out of the way. Folks, we need to talk about the real estate, and I am talking residential real estate. Sometimes we talk commercial, but we're talking single family homes being ice cold, and I fear it's only going to get worse. The question will become, does this lead to large price dumps? Does this lead to a further contraction in transactions? Will it lead to both? Frankly, we're going to have this conversation with somebody who actually has active inventory listed, and he's going to let us know what's going on. The one and only Lumberjack Landlord. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great, Mike. How you doing, pal?
I'm doing well, man. I have told people we are in a buyer's market. I have told people that demand has pulled back. And it's time to write disrespectful offers. Yeah. You're actually on the other side of that. You have a couple, I think 2 single family homes listed. I would not want to be a seller in this environment, but you tell us what's going on.
Yeah. I mean, somebody gave me a disrespectful offer and I was like, effing Zuber.
I love it.
I was like, yeah, so that works unless the guy that you're presenting that to is me and my burn is $500 a month on the house.
Yeah. No, that's the power of a disrespectful offer, because you self-qualify. Because
absolutely.
You as a seller will do one of 3 things.
Yeah.
1, you'll remove the listing eventually. It'll just come off and you will look for a better day to sell. 2, you will be, pig-headed and not drop a penny and just it'll age out. Or 3, you'll negotiate.
Yeah.
Those are the only options. Folks, write lots of offers. Most people aren't the lumberjack and can just hold for $500.
That's exactly. I was just going to say that. I am a 1% seller.
Yes.
Only 1% of them don't really need to sell.
Want versus need. Yep.
Yeah. So I can hang on, and at $500 burn, do the math. I can wait until the spring market and it costs me $2,000 or $2,500. Don't care. And so so I think that
you could do. I mean, again, you could do something else. You could say, okay, forget it. It's almost the frozen tundra. Let's stick a tenant in. Worst case, and we'll just hold it another year. I mean, you could say that as well.
Yeah, we thought about maybe a midterm, rental, because we don't want anything long term. We would probably put furniture in there, but the problem is that I just finished the house.
Yeah,
so it's and will I cost myself $2,500 more, or $3,000 or $5,000 more? Probably.
Yeah, probably.
Because we have it perfect now. But yeah, the market is just it's frozen. We're seeing. I really, honestly, Mike, I really forgot what it's like to deal with first time home buyers.
I
effing hate them. They're the worst. They're like, well, that's done wrong. Oh, based on all your experience, I did it wrong.
Well, do me a favor.
You've done it 0.
Yeah, do me a favor. Remind people where you're at. And this is important because when I talk to Lance Lambert, where you are is like the most out of balance. It's quote unquote a seller's market.
Yes.
When you zoom in on your part of the country, meaning active inventory is still down, 30% from 2019. It's not Texas. It's not Florida. So remind people where you are. And this is why I called the buyer's market, because I saw this exact thing coming. So where are you?
So we're in New Hampshire. We're close to the coast. So we're a little bit unique. New Hampshire's got 17 miles of coastline, some of the most expensive coastline you'll find. We're in New Hampshire, but that's kind of one of the crazy things that we're seeing, just generally speaking, about the market is the traffic is low. The belief or understanding of what a dollar gets them is completely still out of whack.
So let's put some numbers on. This is awesome to talk about. Yeah. So how long have they been listed? These are 2 listings. 30 days, 60 days?
So one of them's been out there for about probably 45 days.
Okay. So more than normal, right? The days on market for your area is not 45.
Nope.
Okay.
If these things were done, and this is a message to my crew, if these things were done in June when they were supposed to be done in June, these things would have sold in 7 seconds. And that's what makes me angry on the inside. but
Yeah,
that
I
happens.
get it. So you got one out at 45 days. The other one is shorter or longer than that?
Shorter. So I got one at 45 and one at like 20 or 21.
And then tell us about the experience with the first week for each of the listing, because typically speaking, that's when the most eyeballs hit it, when it's new, when it's fresh. How many phone calls did you get, or was it crickets since day one?
So I think the first weekend, I think they were both pretty close. And here, like, weather matters, so it's like, and it's not, rainy all the time like it is in Seattle. It's not sunny all the time like it is in Las Vegas, and 107 during this time of the year, which I still love, by the way. But yeah, so it was, so we had one weekend where the open house was literally on a rainy day, and it was like, okay. And we got 3 tire kickers, like, whatever, that's fine. The other one was on a decent day, and we had 6 people go through it.
Okay.
And
now that's 3 so 3 is clearly low. 6 still feels pretty low for a weekend, but again, I don't know your area. Maybe
no, it
that's
is.
Okay.
No, it is. That's a low number. Yep, that's a low number. And we went through the entire process. Like, we don't skirt the process because we think we know so much. So we still did a CMA. We still did a comparable market analysis, CMA. That's what any agent should be doing before they're listing a property. Run a CMA, understand exactly what the property's worth and what you think you should be getting for it. That's the way that you don't improperly price it. Feelings improperly price things. Facts don't. So after the analysis, one was posted for 450. All of the data there, all of it, in the last 60 days showed that the number was supposed to be 450.
Okay.
Now remind 460. Sorry.
Now remind us what's the median home price in your
440, area? I think. So
so you're right. You're bang on the median.
Yeah, 440, 450, right around. It's right there. Yeah.
Okay. And what's the configuration? Is it a 2
3-1?
3? So
3-1.
Is that normal? 3-1s?
Yeah, 3-1s are. Yeah, I mean, there's some 2-1s. They're mostly 3-1s, and then there's some 4-1s. But if you're 4-1s, you're usually newer construction.
Got it.
Or you're going into places that have 1 bathroom, like the old New Englanders and things like that, that are 4 smaller bedrooms type of thing.
Got it.
Yep.
Okay. All right. So you've got median home price. You've got the average configuration. It's dialed in.
Yeah.
Right. It's supposed to be FHA friendly, right? Meaning you'll pass inspections.
Yep.
And not a lot of eyeballs. Got bad luck with weather one weekend. So some eyeballs, but probably not enough on the listings.
Correct.
But what were, if any, of the offers that came in?
So we got 1 offer
On both, or only on
the one for 45 days. We got 1 offer.
And when
it was, so we're listed at 450. It came in at 300 was the original offer.
How many days on market when that 300 came in?
17, maybe.
Right, so maybe, okay. So a little early maybe, but I would call that a disrespectful offer. I would.
I would too. I would too. My agent goes, all right, so I kind of know the answer, but I have to ask you. I go, yeah. I go. And so I said all the curse words that I wanted to say. And I said, and you can tell him that I will light it on fire before I would ever sell that house for $300,000.
So you didn't counter. You just
didn't counter. Nope.
Okay.
Nope. And then they came back and then 3 days later, they came back at 400.
Oh. Okay.
And I didn't counter.
Oh.
Nope. Not countering 400.
You didn't even counter back at 450?
Nope.
Didn't even write a counter.
Nope.
Matthew.
Nope. I don't negotiate with terrorists.
Zuber's great.
So,
well, I guess the question is how bad do you want to sell it, right? 400. I mean,
I don't
$500
a month burn. Like,
yeah, but you didn't even counter. I mean, you didn't even counter at the ask. No, I get it.
Ask me if it worked.
Okay, what happened next?
I got a 425.
Oh, from the same people?
Yes.
They're just walking it up okay.
Well, now I've got you a little bit.
Right. Now you know, right?
Now I know that you're really interested. So they came up to 425, but the problem wasn't the price. The problem was
conditions?
Stipulations.
Oh, geez. Okay.
They wanted to get the town to approve it for a special use, which was likely a variance, which is a 60-day process.
Yeah.
And so my counter back was they had 7 asks.
Yeah.
I gave them 5 of the 7,
Right.
and I went back at 435.
Okay. Now we're counting.
So
Okay.
more than halfway.
Yep.
I countered, and I gave them 5 out of the 7 things that they asked for.
But not the 60-day variance.
Not the 6. Yeah, because
Yeah.
then I could be 60 days and dead.
Yeah. Yeah. They get told no, blows up. Of course.
Yep. We also made them the offer that they could do a hard deposit, meaning that I keep it no matter what happens,
Yep.
right? Money goes hard. So that was I think it was $10,000.
Okay.
$10,000 hard deposit.
Like basically, how important is this variance to you?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And if you're going to make me wait at least a certain amount of time, like we allowed them, we gave in from the perspective where we said, we'll let you do due diligence. We'll let you contact an attorney. We'll let you have the conversation with them, likely or not, like just not get the variance.
Yeah. You could have 7 days to do your homework, but
Correct.
not 60.
So we gave them that. And I actually engaged my attorneys to help them because they didn't know who to reach out and who to contact. I said, I'll reach out to my attorneys. I said, I'll do it at my expense for you too.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So it's quite magnanimous of me.
Yeah. Well, again, you're now you're negotiating. Now you're like, ooh, maybe we actually sell this thing.
Right. Now we're talking, because at 400, I can't work with that, because halfway is 425. And that's the way most people negotiate, even though it's wrong.
Right.
You know, and so it is the BS to money ratio. And I want to cut down the amount of BS and I want to get to the money. So I'm willing to give more, but you're going to have a little bit less freedom. And basically they kind of hemmed and hawed, and they were like, well, now we're not really sure. And so when you get that vacillating point, you take it away. So we took the deal away. We took the deal. We say, nope, the 48 hours has passed. We're going to take the deal back. Let us know if you want to get more serious.
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
What's interesting though is that, and what's kind of an unfair advantage for me is he doesn't know my name, but I know his.
Oh, okay.
And so I know who he is. And
did you know him before or no?
So here's how I know him. He has tried to rent 3 other properties from me.
No, because you have so many in that town. That makes sense.
He tried to rent 3 other properties from me. And I was like, what I did find was he's kind of a dumpster fire of a person from the perspective of he's not organized, doesn't know what he's doing. He's always grasping at straws, and it's always shiny object syndrome.
Oh.
And what's the likelihood that deal closes and doesn't waste just a bunch of my time? Like, it's very low that low percentage of that deal closes. So that's why we took the deal away.
Makes sense.
And I said to my agent, I said, if they come, but they need to come hard at us. All right, here's 10 grand. We're closing 45 days. Yeah. It goes hard after 7. Like, they needed to come back and want it. And exactly what we expected, or what I felt was going to happen, was they were going to, basically tuck tail and walk the other way. Yeah. And they did. And so I look at that deal and go, even if I had a deal, I would have been nervous the entire 45 days. And it would have
blown up. It would have fell apart or something.
And I would have wasted that time anyway. Now, at least I'm not stuck in a deal and I have some flexibility, because that they'll hold I could have held his deposit, and then he would have been like, then fine, we're going to court and I'm going to sue you over the hard deposit. And then he ties up my unit for another 60 to 90 days.
Not a good outcome.
This is where our skill set, yours and mine, and our expertise in the market, this is where it blows the doors off of 99% of agents and almost 100% of other buyers, is because we recognize this deal isn't really a deal. It's sort of a deal. It sounds like a deal, but it's not.
It kind of felt like one. It smelled like one, but upon further inspection, it was never a deal.
It's not really a deal, right? With the stipulations and things like that they attached to it, it made it largely untenable. Sure.
Yeah, I love that. Well, again, you are heading into snow will be on the ground soon.
Yeah, probably 30 days.
Yeah,
45 days.
You've always talked about it being crickets then. I'm just curious, because I really am starting to think we're going to have higher rates next year.
Could be. Looking like it.
Yeah, I mean, we jumped to 6.82, something like that. I think, if we let's just pretend for a moment, 2025 averages 7%. And of course, that's first-time home buyer stuff, not even investor loans. Investors, probably 7.5, 7.75, 8. I think the real estate market kind of continues where it's at, where it feels like the ice age. I mean, this could be like 1982. 1982 transactions were 50% below 1978.
Yeah.
So in 4 years, transactions fell 50%. I really do feel that if we have 7% for 2025, we could see existing home sales like at 3.5 or 3.6 million. It's going to be slow.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah. I mean, agents, get your resumes ready. Yeah, it's gonna be bad. They're gonna definitely feel the pain. Now the elite ones, they don't, right? Like my guy, he still did 70 sides this year. Like he's
Damn.
elite. He's and that was with one, and that's him and one helper.
Okay.
Like not even an agent. Like, so it's like he's elite at what he does, and that's why we work well together. But yeah, I think that what I think actually then happens if rates stay high, I think that's where then we find the pressure on price.
Well, let's play that out, because again, we've been here before. It's really funny because I think to me, it always boils down to sellers.
Agreed.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
What happens at 7% mortgage rates crushes demand. I don't think anybody argues that.
No, I agree.
Just crushes.
Yep.
But does 7% create pressure on sellers?
7% create pressure on sellers?
I don't think so. Most sellers have fixed rate expenses, right? Most people's mortgage payments are below rent.
The only reason they were considering selling was because they were at 3.5 or 3 anyway, and they're like, 3.5 to 5, whatever.
Yeah,
3.5 to 7,
not happening, right? I think there'll be a lot of people like you will say, "Hey, I'll sell it at my price."
Mm-hmm.
They may list crickets, and they'll just keep it for another year, right? I think there's going to be a lot of people like that. Like, I wish, I wish we had an extra bedroom. The wife's pregnant. All right, let's list our house, see what we get. Oh, we didn't get it. Guess what? Go buy some bunk beds.
Exactly. No, I think that's right. And I think the other component to this part of the equation is, like you were saying, the have to, like, I have to move, I must move, is a pretty small part of the market. It's more like, I really like to move.
Right. Like to versus have to, very different.
And it's a much smaller market on the have to.
Yeah. I mean, people, again, right, the have tos: death, divorce, job transfer. Maybe one of the things that I think about single family homes is we may have some markets. I'll give you this. I think there may be some markets. I always like to pick on Palm Springs because it's in Cali and the rules changed. There'll be some markets that could be down 40%. I don't know if you know this, but Palm Springs rules around Airbnbs just changed the game overnight. And there's a lot of people that overspent on Palm Spring Airbnbs, and that's going to be a problem, right? Markets like that.
Yeah, that's what I'm most concerned about. People with only had that strategy.
It's the only one that worked, right?
It's the only one that worked. And when you have only one strategy that works, it is that or sell. I've got bad news. You're going to be selling when everybody else is going to be selling if you put yourself in that bad strategy.
That's how you get price drops.
Exactly.
Is you get a wave of must sell at the same time. I just don't think 7% does that for most of the country.
Yeah, I don't think it does. I think the other way that you get price drops, and you're the economist, and you would know better than I would, but I think the other way that you get price drops is no demand.
See, that's just not true in housing.
Yeah, you think so?
It's not true. It's not true. Again, what happens with no demand is transactions. You do not have what's called meeting of the mind.
Sure, of course.
Right.
But you have there's that, but it does get to that common denominator though, right? Where you get all the want tos, all the I'd like tos, you get all of them out of the market. And if you can still find then the people that have to sell.
Yep.
And then the people that have to buy. Or
the have to buy is a different scenario. They're going to probably go new construction. Why will they go new construction? Because new builders have already proven that they know where buyers are. They're at 4.99. Exactly. They'll just buy down the rate. So
smart.
So you take the demand out of the equation, and you just are left with a vacuum of creative financing is where you're really going to be left, right? With the people that have to sell.
And so, but to that end though, so if you take the only allotment of buyers that you have, and they're now buying new construction because the builders are smart,
right?
And they're saying, yeah, we can fund this at 4.99. That's a way better option for us than having to take less of a price. We're better off at 4.99. We'll buy it down, or we'll even carry paper. Don't care.
Right. Yep.
So, but then that buyer disappears from the market of the used inventory. And so then that sits But if they have to sell, then it becomes price reduction to try and get it to sell, right?
Well, it can,
If they have
or
to.
right, if they have to sell. So you're
Yeah.
certainly going to have some people where that's the case. No
Sure.
doubt. You also have some people who have to sell that have no equity, so they'll have foreclosures. No
Correct.
doubt.
Yep. Agreed.
The lion's share will end up being sold creative financing. And again, folks, we have evidence of this in the early 80s. It was the birth of creative financing.
It was.
Right. There was a lot of people who were selling homes having to take seconds. Right. Because there was nobody could afford it with 18% first. A lot of those seconds were what they called silent seconds. They were just debt that was there until some date in the future. It wasn't even payments. So what I want to do is actually have a spreadsheet, folks. You can go get the spreadsheet for yourself on my website, onerentalatatime.com. I don't know why you haven't gotten it already, but let's just bring this up because, again, I want to show that we have an environment where rates went up crazy. We have a 4-year period where demand fell every year and prices didn't. And this is, of course, for existing home sales. So let me see if I get this technology to work. It's always a stretch for me.
I have faith. I know you can do it. You did it before.
I did. Oh, there it is. I think I got it.
You got it.
How about that?
There it is.
All right. So let me add some colors to this. So we're going to do existing home sales. We'll make that yellow. We will take home appreciation. We will take home appreciation. We'll make that, I don't know, we'll make that blue for what the heck, or gray, whatever that is. And then what we're going to do is we're going to scroll over and make 1978 the first year. So is it keeping up with me? You see what I'm seeing?
You're good. Yep. 78.
All right. So we're in 78. Let's make this, because this is going to be our base year. We're going to make this orange. All right. So let's look what happened. So again, we peak at 1978. Rates start going up, but transactions go down. We're at 3.8. Then they fall to 2.9. Then they fall again to 2.4. And ultimately, by 1982, we're under 2 million. We are down 50%. This is kind of what we're talking about. This is what could be coming to 2025. Transactions could be down 50% from the peak. But now let's look at appreciation. Up every year. Even 1982 was up slightly. Now, in fairness, there is something called nominal and real, which of course I love to share as well. If you want to talk about real, meaning X inflation, we actually had 3 negative years.
Yeah.
Right. So again, as I said, I think the next couple of years are going to be very much flat appreciation. I said that for 2024 in January. I think we're going to end up flat in 2024 because the next 2 months will be down. But this data is out there. We have been in this scenario. I'm actually very concerned, Matt, that we are going to repeat 1981 and 1982.
I'm not, because that means I win.
Yeah, he's excited about $1, folks. He's excited about $1.
See, that's how you know how competitive we are, Mike. Like, I'm willing to forego 50 grand on my house because I want your buck. It's like selling you a 50K steak for $1.
Exactly.
But that's so this is the challenge, right? So this is what we're watching. We're finally watching the reverse on median home sales. It's finally coming back off. Now, is that seasonal? Very likely could be, although it started a little bit early, because these numbers that we're seeing now are September numbers. That's a little bit early. Usually we start seeing those numbers like December, right? Right around the holidays, we start seeing that stuff around December. And so what will be really interesting to watch it evolve is, Mike, how fast does it evolve, right? You and I always believe that housing is slow.
Correct.
Right? The question is, we have, I lose if Kamala gets in.
I think you lose regardless, in fairness.
But guaranteed. Because she's
guaranteed.
$25,000. She's $25,000 she'll give to people, and then you get a multiple of that. So if she gets in, it's a guaranteed loss. If Trump gets in, it depends on what he does to goose the economy, but he's not going to be able to do anything until January 1 anyway.
Oh, see, this is why I felt really good about our bet, because I agreed with your logic.
Yes.
I agreed what you have planned is possible.
Yeah.
Where I disagreed is your time
Timing.
frame.
Absolutely.
I believe you are always a year early.
Okay.
That's why I mean, look at 1982. I just highlighted some cells green.
Mhm.
Look at 1982. Unemployment went up 2% in a year.
Yeah.
Look at the 5-year period we're talking about, 78 to 1982. Unemployment went up almost 4%.
Yep.
Right? And home prices didn't go down.
Yeah.
Transactions did.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Sure.
The must sells were 2 million people must sold.
Yeah.
The wants to sells didn't show up.
Yeah. It's
So-
going to be,
Yeah.
what do you think is different about the economy this time around from last time?
Oh, dude, the biggest difference is how banks are handling individuals. I mean, this is again, back to my point I didn't finish on.
Sorry.
The reason I felt that you were wrong on timing was the price elasticity is what it's called. The stickiness.
Mhm.
It takes at least a year longer in my experience than given your dominoes, which even if I agreed with, I'm like, yeah, you're right. Oh, you got timing wrong. You're 12 months early.
Mhm.
That's why I always felt good about the dollar bet, because I saw your
Mhm.
logic. I saw it was possible. I'm like, he missed timing. It takes a
Yeah.
year longer for that stuff to show up. And I still feel that's the way, right? I think 2026 could be a problem if things go really bad.
Okay.
So that was that. Now I forgot the last question you had that I wanted to talk about.
So what do we believe, or what do we know is different in this market versus what happened in the early 80s?
Banks working with people. I mean,
Yep.
you saw it in the pandemic. What happened? They created a website with a click of a mouse. You can get 90 days or 6 months.
Yep.
That is all air pockets in the foreclosure process.
It is.
So again, the economy goes bad. We go from 4.3 to 7% unemployment.
Yep.
Let's just say we repeat 1982. It's up 300 basis points. Don't you think banks are going to go, bam, 6 months forbearance, bam, 9 months?
Oh,
forbearance.
yeah. They're the professional can kickers now. I mean, they're
Exactly.
Yeah, totally
They know
agree.
it works.
Totally agree.
So 2025, because again, let's just play this out. You get unemployed.
Yep.
You are technically a must sell.
Probably.
However, unemployment is spiked.
Yep.
So the Fed whispers in the Treasury, whispers in the bank's ears, forbearance come back. Suddenly, you're not a must sell.
True story.
True. I mean, you got unemployment. That's going to pay the bills. It's going to feed you.
You're dead on.
You're dead. So again, it could be a problem. It just doesn't show up in 25. It could be 26. So they won't kick the can forever.
Yeah, it could be. I think
that's what I'm thinking.
One of the things that I'm seeing now. So I had a 1031 almost fail.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. $250,000.
Ooh,
that hurt.
That hurt.
That'll lift them up. But it almost failed. And so I did what we do. Our network is our net worth, right? What's that rule number 5 or something? I forget. So our network is our net worth. So I start burning up the phones, calling everybody that I've ever talked to about any transaction. Hey, what do you got?
Now, just so I'm clear on this, this was on the property you were going into that bottomed, or did you have a buyer back out? Which one?
So I had a seller back out.
Seller back out. Got it. Okay.
Well, so actually over the course of that 45-day naming period, I backed out on 1 and I had sellers back out on 2.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah. Like I was like, nobody wants to play with me.
You know? What did I do? I got bad breath.
Exactly. What's the problem, people? Isn't my money green? But yeah, so where we ended up was, I have to name 2 more properties by this last Monday. Right. Not yesterday, but a week ago.
Sure.
I call everybody that I have any relationship with. Hey, what do you got? Mm-hmm. What do you got? And create 5 deals. Right. Okay. 2 of them are good enough to offer on. The other 3 suck. And I'm just like, these are awful. These are, well, I appreciate you talking to me about them. You are totally screwing me. So looked at the other 2 and I was like, okay, we can name these 2, but I only like to put ones that I know I have under agreement on the list. So we're getting to that point. And so we're kind of going through the process, but again, I can only name 2 and I have to have them named by midnight on Monday.
No doubt.
That is not flexible.
Correct.
What was most interesting to me is there was a common denominator there was a common denominator on the 5 deals that we created. All 5 of them had exactly one thing that was identical to the other.
No idea.
Every single one was owned by an agent.
Agents are starving. Agents are starving. This is their piggy bank.
Yep. And think about it, Mike. They're giving away this income. One of the ones that I'm buying, one of the ones that I'm buying was sold in 2020.
Okay.
For $350,000.
Okay. It's
2024. It's basically 2025.
Yeah.
Selling for $650.
Okay.
Now this thing only generates for him. It generated a little over $3,000 a month for him.
That's the top line or the bottom line?
That's the bottom line.
Okay. So net of net. Okay. Got it.
Yeah. So net, he's $3,000 a month on that property.
All right.
That's a lot of money, but he's giving it up after fees and all this other stuff. He's giving it up for, 200 and change, but he doesn't live there. Mm-hmm. So what's he got to do with it? He's got to 1031 that into something else so he doesn't get absolutely obliterated.
Well, again, I don't know. He's going
to take the cash and pay the 20 points, right? He's going to pay long-term capital gains.
He's going to pay long-term capital gains. He's going to have a little bit of depreciation. If he cost seg that, he can have a lot of depreciation recapture.
Exactly. So he's probably going to walk away from that deal with probably $250,000.
Yeah. Maybe less.
Yeah, maybe less. Maybe 2.25.
Maybe, 2.25 probably. But again, your point about the agents is spot on.
Yeah.
There's a lot of agents that are starving, and the good ones have assets. They remember those little things you put on the wall, break in case of emergency.
Yeah, of course.
Right. He's breaking in case of emergency.
He is, and so were the other 5. So the other 4 agents, and that's what was amazing about that. And I was just like, why? And I would tell my agent, I was like, why do I know that guy's name? And he goes, oh, he's an agent. I was like, yeah, of course he's an agent. Yeah. And that became the theme, and that's what astonished me. Is when we got to the end and I was like, okay, we've got 5, we offered 2, but Jay, all of these guys are agents. Every single one of these guys is an agent.
Well, just think about our earlier conversation. Let's pretend that, the real estate market is already in the ice age.
Yeah.
I don't know what's worse than an ice age. If we get 7% mortgage rates next year and transactions go down another 20%, that's a tough lift. Yeah.
I mean, the only agents that are making any money at that point and they're going to have much smaller teams. These agents that were just like, oh, I got a 20-person team, dude, you'll have a 2-person
team. Yeah.
Yeah. And I had a buddy of mine who owned a mortgage company in 2007. In 2007, he had 35 mortgage brokers.
Oof.
In 2007. By the beginning of 2008 or second quarter of 2008, he had 2.
Yeah.
So and that's the thing is that's part of the world that happened. The part that services real estate that disappears, like inspectors, you name it. These guys just
there's like 20 people that get a little piece of a transaction. If you really step back and look at all the little pieces, mobile notaries. I mean, just think about all the different little pieces.
Totally agree with you. Yeah, totally agree.
Let's go back to how we started this conversation. I want to paint a picture.
Yeah.
So again, what I'm hearing you say is you're going to keep these things listed, right? You're not going to look for a plan B. So you're going to keep them listed
right now. Mm-hmm.
Let's pretend for a moment that we get through the end of the year. They're still listed, which I hope you sell them, but let's pretend.
Sure.
And we assume rates are higher in 2025, hurting first-time home buyers.
Mm-hmm.
When do you consider, when in that story do you actually consider a price drop?
So on one, we went from 450 to 425.
Okay, so you've already done a price drop. Okay.
Yep. On one. On the other one, we're at 400. We haven't done a price drop yet.
Is that also a 3-1?
That is a 4-2.
Oh, okay.
With a big lot and a big yard. Like, it's shocking that thing hasn't,
okay.
I'm shocked that thing hasn't sold.
That's I think you told me one time off air, you own these both free and clear.
I do.
Would you ever think about seller financing?
Nope.
Okay.
So I would for an investor. I would not for a homeowner. No.
Because of
homestead
yeah.
laws. Yeah. I'm not a bank. and they can absorb the bullsh, of
Yeah.
a foreclosure taking 2 or 3 years.
Right.
I'm not emotionally, I will light it on fire before that happens.
Got it.
Can't get there. So
Okay.
the options are I can put it back in the market and rent it.
Okay.
I'm exploring an option right now because Section 8 is very proud of themselves for turning vouchers into homes for people. And so I'm actually going down that path with Section 8 now to say, hey, you already make that payment monthly for someone's rent. What they're missing, if that program gets them to create the down payment for free,
Mm-hmm.
then it might make sense. But it doesn't make sense at 7% rates.
Right.
So rates would have to stay in the 5s, or does Section 8 fund those mortgages?
Yeah. Do they do the buy down? Like,
Right.
are they a builder? That's what the builders.
Yeah. Do they do the buy down, or do they even say to Fannie Freddie, hey, listen, this is one of our Section 8 programs. We need 5-year fix or 30-year fix for 5%. We need prime -2 or something. Right.
Yeah.
So I'm working through that process to see if that's an option. I would sell to an investor, and I would hold paper for an investor. I would not do it for somebody living in there as ORaaT. So it would be an LLC.
Okay.
And the other thing too is I think I still believe the spring, because every single spring, every agent is surprised at how busy they get.
Yeah.
So still come April.
That's my point, right? So if you don't have it sold by, if you don't have it sold by April, you just keep it on, and you want to get through the spring. You're okay being vacant for 6 months.
Yeah. What we'll probably do is we would probably take it off of market, like the middle of November.
Right. And then you just hold it.
And then we'll just hold into January, because then, but here's the thing. This is, again, not to get political, but factually speaking, if she's going to do Kamala's going to do 25 grand, right?
Yeah.
If she gets elected, then in all likelihood, I'm going to sell more stuff. I'm going to put more stuff on the market because it's going to go up in price. There's going to be crazy demand.
Oh, I've told people explicitly. I've actually did a video on this. If either president comes out with a meaningful first-time homebuyer program of 10, 20, 25 grand, there is a very good chance that within 12 to 18 months, I sell all my single-family homes.
Yep.
Because it'll be another 20% pop, artificial. I've lived this movie before. I have seen that last year of crazy stupidity.
Yep.
I will simply get out of the way. I'll 1031 some, but not all, and I'll just sit on my bag full of money and wait for the nuttiness to come back.
Yeah. Or, the nice thing that we have going on is that, office and a lot of commercial is such a nightmare right now.
Oh God, it's so bad. Can you imagine commercial at 7%? How bad it's going to get?
Oh, I know. Oh, Mike, I just got quoted from a bank at 7.7. 7.7.
Can you? Yeah, if you're stuck in a bad deal from 21, 22, and you've got to refi that debt, and you're going to go from 3.5 to 7.7, and your cap rate went from 4.5 to 8.
Yeah,
you have two choices: write a 6-figure cash in refi, or let it go.
Yep. Yeah, or fire sale it, something. So one guy that I found did actually a pretty smart thing. I was I was impressed. I'm not one to impress.
Not easy. Yeah.
No, it's not easy. So I was impressed. So here's what he did. He basically took a $10 million portfolio, and he said, I'm going to give you my debt at 3.25% on, and it's about $6.5 million is what he still owes on that $10 million portfolio.
All right. So he's got 65% LTV roughly. Okay.
He said, I will take, basically 3.5 million. I don't care how you come up with it, but then I will assign all of my debt to you.
Got it.
And his debt is at 3 something. Like I said, 3 something.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. So he's got between 18 and 22 months left on that debt.
Yeah. All right.
There's
not a huge fan of that.
Right. But there's a lot of people that are just like, this is amazing. Like, look how much money this makes. Because right now today, that thing makes 13 or 14%.
Yeah,
but if you adjust it, it's gonna make like
2.
If you're lucky. Yes,
exactly 2.
So I was impressed that he built it out that way.
Yeah, I mean,
So when I talked to his
some
agent,
newbie's going to buy this. Some newbie will
well,
buy
that's the
this.
problem, right? When I talked to his agent was like, "Yeah, we're not really sure why it hasn't sold yet." And I was like, "Because your numbers suck."
Yeah,
And he
your numbers
goes,
look good today, but fast forward 18 months
"Yeah."
with just
He goes, "What do you
6%
mean?"
high.
And I go, "Carry this thing out when all that debt has to go back up." I
Ugh,
said, "It's going to go to 6, 6.5, 7, 7.5." I was like,
yeah.
"This person could be writing a pretty sizable check on a monthly basis."
Yeah. And again, if we're playing in an environment where rates are higher, I mean, that debt could be 8.
Could be.
Could be.
Yeah.
This is what's coming to commercial and why, again, if I had the opportunity to repeat what I did in 2006, which there's a chance, right?
Mhm.
You get first time home buyer incentives. You wait a while for that to get approved and really start churning it's like sharks eating a whale.
Yeah.
It'll just like 9 months, 10 months, just feeding frenzy. And then 1031 out of that into distressed commercial, it'll be like printing money. It'll be crazy.
The thing is, we're facing the same thing, right? We're reading the same tea leaves. We're like, this is exactly what could happen. Oh, do I care?
Well, again, so let me be very clear. I hope it doesn't happen.
Right.
I don't want an artificial 20% bump in my single family homes.
Mhm.
I don't want to be put in a situation where I have to sell 30 plus single family homes.
Yeah.
But if you're going to give it to me, I am going to take it.
Right. But so I would agree with taking that and then taking the money and just paying the cap gains tax on it.
Yeah.
But do you want to massively grow your portfolio? Because that's what's going to happen. They're not going to be duplexes. They're going to be 10, 20, 30, 40 unit buildings. They're going to be bigger assets.
If I can buy them in my area with my team, my workload does not go up meaningfully.
Correct. Yep. It's true.
That is my luxury.
Yep.
I don't manage my stuff. I don't go to my units. I haven't seen one of my units in 2.5, maybe 3 years. You probably have seen something in the last 30 minutes. So again,
like 55, because I came from that. And I came home to that.
Yeah. So I'm in a very so again, I don't want to.
Right.
But given everything that I've built over 20 years, if somebody's going to hand me a situation where I get an artificial bump of $2.5 million, I get an artificial opportunity to grow to take 40 or 50 grand and make it 100. I'm not like Dion. I'm not going to turn down $4,000 for a couple of hours of work. I will go take that and smile every day. I don't want to. I hope it doesn't happen.
He's just used to making more for being, for people wanting to spend time with him. He's just used to making more. So
I just can't turn
a pay cut.
I can't turn down what I know works.
Right.
Especially when it's no cost to me of time. Right. It's not really a time constraint for me.
I'm with you. And that's one of the things that I'm like kind of looking at. And I'm like, okay, like you and I talked about, in the next 3 years, it looks like a greater chance than not that we could double our portfolios if we want to.
Absolutely correct. And to be very clear, I don't want to, but if you set up the dominoes in the exact same way, I guarantee you I will do it, which means singles go first, multis crash, bingo, bango, winner, winner, chicken dinner.
Yeah. That's the thing I'm struggling with, because it's like, I can see it.
Yeah. Because you self-manage.
So so I think the bigger thing for me is, getting money out of the game, pulling money out of the game.
Oh, I will certainly take
a
double-digit percentage out and sit on a bag full of money. But I can't take it all out. I mean, geez. That'd be crazy.
Well, you could.
Oh, I could, but it's just like, I mean, at some point the numbers are stupid.
Right. Point. But so what? But that's kind of where I'm at. Right. And that's, I think, more like I talked with Dion too about it, is it's like the life choice, 4 kids.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I hate that statement, dude. That when the game stopped playing, that still sits heavy on my shoulders.
Yeah. See, that's the thing is, I mean, and that's why for me is, it's like, do I just walk away and I actually shrink in size?
Yeah, you could.
But I have, well into the 8 figures sitting there.
Yeah.
Do I do that? And that's the thing that I'm probably struggling. Like, listen, first world problems. Like, don't feel sorry for me.
Yeah,
But
no, don't feel sorry for either of us. Yeah.
But that's the struggle. That's where you're like looking at it and going, okay, if this goes this direction and I can get one big, huge, massive exit, then, I mean, I've won the game on how to buy and acquire and manage and all that stuff.
The really cool thing about your situation is, let's just play it out for you, right? Let's say the dominoes go and you decide to sell, and I'll just make a number of $10 million.
Yeah.
10, like cash, post-tax, post-depreciation recapture.
Sure.
10 million. You have 4 kids under 6?
Yeah. 6 and under. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So you could, in theory, enjoy the next decade as they grow up and, become teenagers and go off to high school. And then in 10 years, you could decide to come back and do it all again. You could enjoy this time.
Yeah. And that's kind of because even now the nice thing is that as I've transitioned the company, it's done really well and I've enjoyed it. And I enjoy what I focus on now, which is like only my rehab projects. It's funny because I look at it and I like kind of account for my time. Like 85% of my time is rehab projects. 15% is like
where you like to be. It's your choice.
Yeah. I love the rehab projects. I love being there. But once that closes out and I've only got like the 15% to kind of do and play with, I'm kind of like, well, geez, at this point, like, okay. So that's where I'm having to kind of make the decision of, do I, like you said, I mean, they're going to be handing out bags of money in all likelihood for our assets.
Yeah, exactly.
And the question is do you take the bag? Or only, because there's not going to be one bag. It's going to be a bunch of bags.
It'll be a bunch of bags. Again, it could be a feeding frenzy, right? They come out, this 25 happens the first night. Because again, anybody who moves first are going to get a good deal. Prices will go up for this entry level stuff. And
I hope it doesn't. I
don't want it to. I don't. But again, don't want to. But if it happens, I would be a moron not to cash in.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting. It's an interesting conundrum. Yeah, for sure.
Well, at the end of the day, folks, this video started with 7% mortgage rates, the frozen tundra. We talked about a spreadsheet that really shows from 1978 to 1982, transactions can get worse. Unemployment can get worse. And prices, at least on a nominal basis, don't have to go down like so many of the doomers and crash bros talk about. Last thing, remember, there's this thing called price elasticity. Housing prices are very, very sticky. It often takes much longer than the average person thinks to get prices to decay. We could have a problem in 26, but we shall see. Matt, where can people find you?
Lumberjack Landlord, Thursday night live streams. And we'd love to come and have you just join the community. And everything's kind of interchangeable. One rental at a time, Dion Talk, us, Millennial Mike, all that stuff. So yeah, come hang out with us and take something from each of us. That's what, I mean, we all learn from each other. So why wouldn't you?
Exactly. And of course, guys, if you don't know, Matt and his lovely wife will be kicking off the event in Vegas on February 15th and 16th. They are the opening presentation. We always start my events with a couple because a lot of us invest with our significant others. So it's going to be fun looking back over the last decade or two and looking at some of the emails and phone calls and just having a good old time reliving the journey. Thanks, buddy.
Thanks, pal.